enter the prison amidst the tightest of security. It's the first time American television cameras are allowed inside Castro. Just past the front gates, a stretch of barren earth, no man's land. Anyone caught crossing here will get shot. We see very few of the 1,600 prisoners here. Most of them, murderers, drug traffickers, terrorists, are kept out of sight. Joran the prison's most notorious inmate, doesn't want to talk to reporters, we're told. But within minutes, we get a chance to ask him ourselves. There he is, at 6'4", towering above everyone else.
So Joran, we're with NBC News in the U.S. Joran, you have anything to say to us, Joran?
He's being escorted from one building to another.
Was your confession done willingly? Joran, can you tell us that?
With Joran out of his cell, we're allowed to enter the area where he's been living for a week now. Joran is being held in an isolated block of cells. There are about 5 of them here. This is his room, about 6 feet by 10 feet. His bed, a bunk, a mattress over concrete. This is his sink and a toilet. These are Joran's clothes. His neighbor, an assassin for hire from Colombia. That man is Hugo Trujillo, the hitman also known as El Payaso, the clown. Guards say the two men have become friends, working out with these makeshift barbells, listening to music, and watching the World Cup soccer games on this TV set. By Joran's bed, a Dutch novel he's been reading about a young girl who's been kidnapped. By his sink, the remnants of last night's dinner, what appears to be chicken with rice.
The prisoners in these Peruvian jails have nothing. The food is made in these large vats with hoses coming from the ground, where there's excrement, there's insects.
Built for 1,000 inmates, Castro now holds nearly twice that many. The prison guards, we're told, have little control. It's the prisoners themselves who run the place. An island of anarchy, where former inmates say, money can buy you anything. You can buy alcohol, drugs, prostitutes, he says, or even weapons, not just knives, but also guns.
Pistolas.
The result, a violent world where life is cheap and riots are routine. And believe it or not, for Joran, things could get even worse.
Sources tell 2020 that if the Peruvian government really wants to make an example out of Joran, they could easily transfer him from here to another prison called Lurigancho, just down the road. Human rights organizations have called it one of the worst prisons on the planet, and would make this place, Castro, look like a country club. What is it like?
Dante's Inferno. It is hell.
Sandro Monteblanco is a prominent Peruvian attorney, the CEO of his law firm.
I mean, you hear people talk about Turkish prisons and whatnot, or prisons in the Middle East. I think they use those analogies, those examples, because they haven't been to a Peruvian prison.
Built to house 2,500 inmates, Lurigancho now holds nearly 4 times that many. National Geographic filmed a documentary here 2 years ago, a look inside the prison. Lurigancho is so overcrowded, its 21 cell blocks have exploded into civil war. There are only 100 guards for the 10,000 inmates. They control the main gates, but again, inside, it's the inmates who run the prison. Miguel is one of the prisoners here.
This is like a bad dream. I would think this would be a nightmare for anybody that comes inside Lurigancho, you know what I mean? Because there's another life in here.
Lurigancho is the worst prison I have ever been in, hands down.
Attorney Michael Griffith has represented Americans imprisoned overseas, and he's been inside Lurigancho.
While I was talking to my client, 10 feet away from me, one prisoner stabbed another prisoner. This is the gates of hell.
Back at Castro, where Joran Vandersloot is being held, we asked whether the Dutchman's life might be in danger.
There's a lot of killers like him over here. See, if you commit a crime, you hit one of us. And we respect that. If you did a crime, we gotta respect you for what you did.
But remember, this isn't just any inmate. On Brady on the streets of Lima, Joran is public enemy number 1. Called a killer and assassin.
This is a very religious society. This is a sexist society, and you have your father, you've got a daughter. That's your only daughter. That's your crown jewel. You don't want anybody to tarnish that, much less damage it. In this case, he murdered her.
I can guarantee you, if the family wanted to pay a $100 bill to any inmate, $100 would carry them for 4 or 5 months with food. They would stand in line to cut his throat.
Those who knew the victim have very little sympathy for what could await Joran in prison. One of Stephanie Flores' best friends, Stephanie Jimenez.
I expect from them to at least give him the life sentence, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna get killed before that. And you know what? He deserves it.
If Joran van der Sloot was supposed to kill 2 young ladies, that the second young lady had to die in Peru. Maybe that's God's retribution, that it happened in Peru, and now he must face justice in Peru.
Van der Sloot could face life in prison or only a few years behind bars if he can convince the court that this crime was committed in the heat of the moment. We'll be right back.
When 2020 returns, they see dead people.
They'd be telling me knock-knock jokes.
He's here. Look at the lights. He was not a dream.